Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really zoning in on the absolute latest in artificial intelligence.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
Right. We've gathered a whole stack of recent developments. You've got the newest AI models pushing the limits, the open source scene, which is just buzzing with activity, AI agents becoming more practical, and some
Yeah,
really, really interesting debates going on in the industry.
absolutely.
And our goal here is simple: cut through all that noise, bring you the stuff that really matters, the most intriguing bits, and crucially, what all this fast-paced change might actually mean for you.
Exactly. We've waded through quite a bit technical breakthroughs, that whole collaborative open AI spirit, how agents are actually being used now, and yeah, those bigger questions everyone's starting to ask. It really feels like AI is hitting another gear.
Okay, so let's dive right in with the headline-grabbing stuff. New AI models. Anthropic, they just dropped their latest Claude versions, Opus 4 and Sonnet 4, and the buzz, particularly around coding, seems pretty strong. We're seeing some quite impressive scores on SW Bench. That's the benchmark for software engineering tasks, right?
It's the one.
Sonnet 4 hitting 72.7%, Opus 4 just behind at 72.5%. What jumps out at you there?
Well, the scores themselves are high, definitely. But what's maybe more interesting is what that suggests about handling real complex coding.
Mhm.
It's moving beyond just, spitting out simple code snippets.
Right.
Especially Sonnet 4, the reports about it understanding existing code bases,
Hmm.
particularly with tools like Cursor for navigating code,
Yeah.
that points to a much deeper grasp of big software projects. Could be a real help for dev teams.
Absolutely. And it's not just benchmarks, is it? We're hearing anecdotes from startups saying Claude 4 just works.
That just works factor.
Yeah,
And apparently demand is huge. Plus, they're integrating Claude Code directly into IDEs, the coding environments developers use. That feels very, very practical.
it is. It's making it part of the actual process.
So-
And then there's Opus 4, which they say kind of combines the best bits of their older models, supposedly excels at those longer, more involved tasks, using tools effectively and writing too.
Yeah, if you zoom out a bit, that focus on usability, on integration for developers, that's a key trend, I think. Moving from just theoretical power to like actual tangible benefits.
Mm.
But it's always worth remembering, right? Even these top models has strong suits and weaker spots. Like Claude not topping the Math Arena leaderboard, it's a good reminder that no single AI is best at everything.
That is a really important dose of perspective. Okay, shifting slightly, but sticking with capabilities, agentic tasks. Both Opus and Sonnet are apparently doing really well there, top rankings on the GAIA benchmark.
Yeah, first and third.
Now, GAIA tests how well AI finds answers to complex questions, basically acting like an agent to solve things, right?
Exactly. It's about finding answers that need, multiple steps, maybe pulling info from different places,
Mm,
more like reasoning and planning.
that feels significant, like a step towards more autonomous systems.
It is. That ability to not just process, but to reason, plan, act in complex ways, that's where a lot of the progress is needed. Strong results on GAIA suggest they're getting better at that higher level problem solving, more than just Q&A.
Okay, but it hasn't all been smooth sailing for Anthropic, has it? There's been some chatter.
Ah, right. The controversies. Yeah, there were reports about them maybe weakening security requirements before hitting a certain level. ASL3, I think it was.
Yeah, that was one thing. And also some users reporting Claude 4 models flagging things as immoral in maybe unexpected ways, even talk of alleged blackmail. It sounds a bit dramatic.
It does sound dramatic. Needs careful looking into, obviously.
Yep.
But it highlights the ongoing challenges with model alignment and safety, even with these advanced systems.
And then there are the practical issues. Costs, for instance. OpenRedder users were mentioning high API costs for Claude 4.
Yeah, cost is always a factor. And availability, too. Cursor community users were having trouble accessing it, weren't they? Leading to speculation about regional blocks or just overwhelming demand.
Right, and frustration about potentially being charged even for failed attempts. That's never popular.
No, definitely not. And even tools trying to integrate it quickly, like Lamy Index, adding support for Claude 4.
Mm.
Developers reportedly ran into issues with these thinking blocks in the API responses.
So bumps in the road, even with the powerful new stuff. Okay, let's switch gears to Google. They've been busy too. Imagen 4 Ultra ranked third in the artificial analysis image arena.
Yep, strong showing there. And it's available on Vertex AI Studio now, so people can actually use it.
And they introduced Gemini 2.5 Pro DeepThink. The idea there is it tackles complex problems by considering like multiple possibilities or hypotheses at once.
Yeah, sort of exploring different paths simultaneously instead of just one linear thought process. Could be really powerful for tricky problems.
Then there's Google Beam transforming standard video into immersive 3D. That sounds interesting.
Very interesting. Potential for VR, AR, changing how we experience recorded moments.
And text-to-speech. Gemini 2.5 Flash powering a new TTS model. They're talking controllable style, accent, pace, even multiple speakers.
They even generated a whole podcast using it, apparently.
Mm,
The level of control they're aiming for there is pretty impressive. Could really change audio production.
definitely. And on the mobile front, Gemma 3N, a multimodal model built specifically for on-device AI. They're boasting nearly a 3x reduction in RAM usage.
That's huge for mobile. Making powerful AI run locally on your phone without draining the battery or needing constant cloud connection, that's a big goal.
We also saw Gemini 2.5 Pro get integrated into ChatGPT's operator update. Interesting crossover there.
Yeah, models getting used across different platforms shows the power of the underlying tech.
And finally, from Google's recent batch, VO3 and Imagen 4, plus a filmmaking tool called Flow, VO3 generating gameplay videos, and advanced generative modeling.
The video generation space is heating up incredibly fast. VO3 generating gameplay suggests really sophisticated understanding of dynamics and actions. Flow sounds like a tool aimed directly at creators.
So a lot happening on the cutting-edge model front from multiple big players.
Absolutely. Intense competition and rapid iteration.
Okay, let's pivot to the open source arena. Still a really vibrant space, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Lots of energy there.
Like FedRAG helps build those RG systems, retrieval augmented generation, where you feed the AI extra context.
Right, pulling info from a knowledge base.
It now supports Unsloth. And Unsloth AI's fast models are all about efficiency, right? Less compute needed.
Exactly. So integrating those makes building powerful RJ systems more accessible. You don't need, a supercomputer cluster. It's about democratization.
Makes sense. And then there's Crawl 4 AI, pretty self-explanatory name.
Huh.
An open source repository for crawling websites and pulling out data that LLMs can actually use. Feels foundational.
Absolutely essential. You need good, relevant data. An open tool for getting that is super valuable for researchers, developers, building their own stuff. Tackles that first big hurdle, getting the data ready.
And Hayhooks. This one aims to take Haystack pipelines, those sort of blueprints for AI workflows, and turn them into usable REST APIs or other tools, like making them production ready.
Precisely. It's bridging that gap between building the pipeline in development and actually deploying it so people can use it. Streamlining that is critical for getting AI out there.
Then Microsoft's NLWeb, interesting idea, converting websites into AI apps using something called MCP.
Yeah, MCP is multimodal component platform, I believe. The idea seems to be making web interaction more dynamic. Instead of just reading a page, maybe an AI agent summarizes it, answers questions about it, performs tasks based on it, all within an app-like feel.
Changes how we interact with the web, potentially.
Could do, yeah. More active, less passive.
And lastly, in this area, there's a call out for research collaboration, specifically around annotation pipelines and analysis for open models.
Really highlights that community aspect. Building better OpenAI needs shared effort, especially for things like creating high-quality labeled data.
Yeah, that collaborative spirit seems key to the open source movement.
It really is. Sharing knowledge, sharing resources, that's how it moves forward.
All right, let's shift focus again. Let's talk about AI agents and the tooling popping up around them. It seems like agents are moving beyond just being single tools.
Yeah, becoming more like integrated control structures, maybe, like MCP, which we just mentioned for managing components, getting integrated into Inference Client, which is for running models.
So agents as orchestrators, pulling different AI bits together.
Sort of. It suggests more modular, adaptable systems where different AI skills can work together more smoothly to handle complex stuff.
We also got some interesting tidbits from Cognition Labs about how they built Devin, their AI programmer.
Yeah, the Devin talk.
They really stressed Devin Search, its ability to actively look for information, and how important context is for tackling coding problems. It's kind of cool getting a peek under the hood.
It is. Understanding their design choices, like focusing on proactive search and context, gives clues about what makes these more advanced agents tick. It's not just the base model, it's how it uses information.
And we're seeing real-world impact, too. Cisco apparently automated 60% of their support cases using LangGraph, Langsmith, and the LangGraph platform.
Wow, 60%. That's a huge number.
Isn't it? It's a really strong example of agents delivering tangible business value, big efficiency gains there.
Absolutely. Shows the ROI potential, faster support, happier customers, presumably lower costs. That's compelling.
Then there's AlphaVol from Google DeepMind. described as an evolutionary coding agent that can discover new algorithms. That sounds pretty out there.
It really does. It's like AI for discovering AI, almost. Using evolutionary approaches to find genuinely novel ways to solve computational problems. That's pushing boundaries.
Mhm.
Potential for real breakthroughs in computer science itself.
And this idea floating around about OpenAI Codex, their code model, maybe transforming agents into like a whole development team.
Yeah, that's a mind-bending concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
Agents not just coding, but collaborating, planning, testing, potentially reshaping the entire software development lifecycle.
Redefining roles within teams, maybe?
Could be. Faster cycles, more complex projects become feasible. It's a big vision.
And making this more practical, the collaboration between Weights and Biases and OpenAI on shipping production-ready agents.
Right. WMB handles the MLOps side, tracking experiments, managing models. OpenAI provides the core AI. Putting those together aims to make deploying and managing agents in the real world easier, less complex.
Bringing it down to earth a bit.
Yeah, making it more accessible for businesses and developers who aren't, AI research labs.
And finally, resources like the 12-Factor Agents repo, now an interactive website and Colab notebook, plus upcoming features like task scheduling and Comet. It all points to the ecosystem maturing, right? More tools, more best practices.
Definitely. These things lower the barrier to entry. Better resources, easier tools mean more people can build, deploy, and learn from agents. Helps the whole field grow.
Okay, so models, open source agents. Let's touch on some of the broader industry thoughts and debates swirling around. There's a sentiment that the push for open models is fundamentally about freedom.
Yeah, you hear that a lot. The argument that keeping AI development open prevents control from concentrating in just a few hands, ensures wider access, fosters innovation freely, it's a powerful ideal.
And on a totally different note, a more social etiquette point. People asking users of always-on AI awareness, gadgets, like smart glasses maybe, to be mindful and ask before recording.
The privacy and consent angle.
Yeah.
As these devices become more common, navigating the social norms around constant recording is going to be important. A bit awkward, potentially.
Definitely awkward. We're also seeing people looking for recommendations for hosted LLM gateway solutions. Suggests companies are grappling with how to manage access and usage of different models securely and efficiently.
Makes sense. As more teams use LLMs, you need a central point for control, cost management, maybe switching between models. It's becoming an infrastructure need.
And then there's the economic impact debate. A concern being voiced is that maybe the big economic boom from AI isn't quite happening yet because the gains are so concentrated in a few huge tech companies.
Right. The productivity paradox, sort of. Where's the broad-based economic uplift? Is it coming, or is it mainly benefiting the providers of the core tech right now? It's a major question.
Tied into that, there's this interesting dark leisure theory.
Yeah, I saw that.
The idea that AI is boosting productivity, but employees are just using the extra time for personal stuff, leisure during work hours, so it doesn't show up in the official stats.
It's a provocative thought. Hard to prove, obviously, but it taps into anxieties about measuring productivity and how work might be changing in subtle ways.
Definitely provocative. And just a quick mention, seemed unrelated, but popped up in the sources, people reporting issues with Twitter, broken notifications. Sometimes the tech just doesn't work.
Yeah. Even the established platforms have their glitches. A grounding reminder, maybe.
Well, that was quite the journey through the latest in AI. Models, open source, agents, the surrounding debates. We covered a lot.
We really did. And the main takeaway, I think, is just the sheer speed of it all. Things are moving incredibly fast on so many fronts.
No kidding. From Claude's coding skills and Google's multimodal advances to that open source energy and agents actually doing real work, like Cisco's support, it's rapid evolution everywhere you look.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about the downstream effects, doesn't it?
It does. How does all this change coding, content creation? What happens when powerful open source tools become even easier to use? How do we adapt when AI agents are partners or maybe even team members?
These are huge questions. Fundamental questions we're all going to have to figure out as individuals, as businesses, as a society. The tech is moving so fast, our understanding of the full impact is still catching up.
Definitely still catching up. So here's maybe one last thought to leave you, the listener, with. Given this incredible pace and all these different trends converging, what kind of fundamental shifts do you think are coming? In how we use technology, sure, but maybe even in how we interact with each other.
That's the big one, isn't it?
It is definitely something to keep mulling over, keep exploring, keep questioning. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.